Hi, welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal channel. My name is Kirk Horton, and today I am joined by the London alternative metal hard rock quartet, Night Thieves. And joining us tonight is Paul Andrew on guitar, Jess Moyle, the vocalist, and new drummer Ryan Delblin. So, first of all, welcome to the channel. Some exciting news. Was it yesterday? You've just announced that you're going to be touring with the English rock band Crystalline, and I can see you've got 3 dates in Nottingham, Edinburgh, and Birmingham. Can your fans expect to see any more towns or cities on this date? They're going to be in May and June, I believe.
There's hopefully some more coming over the summer, but for now it's just 3 dates at the end of May and June. We've got a London date coming up in a couple of weeks, and there's some other things in the pipeline, trying to get things to line up with some other bands and that. So hopefully we can announce some more dates soon.
Yeah, Ryan, what was your debut show with the band?
My debut show was with Iman, and that was, oh God, someone will have to remind me of the date, but that was at the Black Heart in Camden, that was supporting them. They put on a great show, but yeah, that was when I drew first blood with the band live. I mean,
October. I think it was October.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was October. Yeah, sorry.
So when
Yeah.
I spoke to Rick, who can't join us tonight, the bass player, do you rehearse on Wednesdays? Because he said that he had a band meeting. Would that have been about finalizing this tour, or did you have a rehearsal on that day?
I can't remember. They all blend into one. All the rehearsals blend into one.
Uh,
Yeah, we do sometimes like try to do a combo, don't we, with a catch up on stuff and then do a good rehearsal session. We always prep that up ahead of gigs.
yeah, we call it band meeting.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so as we're kind of setting up, I'll be trying to concentrate on setting up my kit, etc. And Rick will be pinging questions at us about certain things. And yeah, we'll have to answer in due time. So yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's just it's basically him just asking us questions and confirming things that we needed to know for some reason.
He sounds like he's the man. He's the one who manages the. I bet he does the social media for the band, doesn't he?
Yeah, predominantly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of split between me and Rick, but Rick does a lot of organising, making sure we're all in the right place.
Project manager
Yeah.
Project manager, yeah,
and
project
bassist.
manager. Yeah, project manager, bassist, songwriter. Yeah.
So I did say that there is a playful question that I'm going to put in at the beginning, and this really goes back to an argument that me and Dave have on this channel. And your band has been called alternative metal, alternative rock, hard rock. I want to hone in on that. Alternative metal, does it even exist? What is it in your opinion?
What is it? It's
I feel like that's
I
like
guess
the new wave thing, isn't it? It's like it's the new trend kind of genre to be like fitted in for kind of.
it's like you've got like some heavy bits and stuff, but you're not like heavy metal, you're not thrash metal, you're not, you know, metalcore.
You're on
I think
boundaries
a
in
lot,
circle.
yeah. So a lot of bands have just been
Yeah.
put into the alt metal, like Lake Malice, for example. They've been put into alt metal, and I think it's bands that are just doing something, have a slightly different sound, but have still got a heavy, it's still got a heavy edge kind of thing. So I guess, a comment I heard recently was, it's almost like our music is metal for like rock lovers or something, and yeah, that's probably quite true, I think. So yeah, so I do think alt metal's a thing, and I think it's describing quite a lot of the bands that are coming up at the moment.
Yeah, I would go the inverse way. I think you're writing rock music for metalheads listening to this, but what you just said,
Hmm.
metal for people who listen to rock music. See, the theory I have is that alternative metal exists for Faith No More fans because they don't want Faith No More to be known as new metal. Perhaps I do include myself in that as well. So Dave strenuously disagrees with this, who's part of the A.D.K team. So this has become a bit of a contentious topic. So I was like, right, I'm going to ask Night Thieves what they think of this. I mean, I'm wearing a Spirit Box t-shirt. I would say this is alternative metal because they're clearly listening to Björk, Depeche Mode, shoegaze music, but then they're listening to Periphery and Meshuggah and even bands like System of a Down, aren't they? So to me, I would say that it is a thing. So Dave, Night Thieves agree with me, so fuck you. You'll be editing this video. I'll probably edit that part out. Ryan, interested though, do you have any thoughts on that? What is alternative metal? Does it exist? Is it a thing, etc.?
I don't know. I always thought about it if you can't really put a finger on it, then just shove it in that category.
That's Dave's argument, exactly.
Well, I don't know. We can have compelling arguments. That's okay. It'll probably get edited in this part. This part agreeing with me. I don't know. It's genuine what I think. I've since listening to the band before I joined, I couldn't put my finger on it. I thought it was just that unique, and I just felt compelled to listen to it. And I didn't know where to go. Fortunately, I saw the name elsewhere and then just thought, oh, that's quite fitting, actually. Let's put it in that category there. So that's just where it's kind of stayed for me, to be honest.
Thanks for clearing that up. I just had to get it in there. As I said to you off camera, I couldn't find too much about the origins of the band, so I normally don't ask this question in an interview. I think it would be good to have this in the public domain. So am I right in thinking Paul, Jess, and Rick were the founding members? Jess, do you want to just kick off on this? How did the band get together?
Yeah, so Rick and I had played in quite a few bands before. So we were kind of in a bit more of like a heavy rock kind of band before this with Beowulfs, but at that point, our guitarist Lexi was decided to up and move out from UK, go off to Germany, sort of thing. And rather than just getting kind of another guitarist, I think we between us we thought let's just do a new project. And we were thinking about having a bit of a new sound as well for rock, not necessarily staying in heavy rock, playing about with all that. So we decided we're going to focus on something like that, maybe focus a little bit more on the songwriting side of it, and stuff like that. So that's when we got in touch with Paul. We found Paul, and he showed us some like really great demos and arrangements of some really good potential tracks to like work on and stuff. And I think that's kind of how the three of us kind of started. And we've been kind of for the past few years been songwriting, trying to work through our sound. So I don't know if you might find that each EP that we've done is like got a slightly different sound as we've been finding our way up to this point with the Polarity EP, which is our latest one at the moment. So, and of course Ryan's come on board. We've had maybe a few drummers in between that time, but since we had Ryan in last year in July, that's kind of really completed the piece. And at the moment we're just really now looking forward to doing all the gigs now coming out, and even a little bit of new songwriting. So that's kind of our evolution since 2017 now.
All right, so it started in 2017 because the debut EP comes out in 2020, I assume, during lockdown, unless
I think that's
2 months of that year.
Yeah.
Oh, so February 2020. Yeah. You did it just before the world went into meltdown.
That's right.
Ourselves, I think. So yeah.
We released a single in December, and then we released, and we just did that with no, kind of backing or anything. That was, we just put it out there. But yeah, as the world went into lockdown, it was crazy, crazy times. But we'd, done videos and stuff before all that happened. So we've been going a while, and we have written and scrapped a lot of songs, but now, as Jess said, we're at the point where we are with Polarity, and we're pretty happy with with what we're doing now. So
Yeah, I can see the evolution in sound because the title track from the Battle Cry EP, there's some really interesting guitar parts on that, and I wonder, Jess, if you and Rick, that might have been one of the arrangements you heard first. It's almost like U2, but like a prog metal interpretation.
Yeah.
Like clean string U2, aren't you? Like the Edge from U2.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, I think Paul came up with had all that stuff. Yeah, we were in a bit of a dancey commercial kind of era with that Battle Cry EP. I think, weren't we, Paul? So it was we had all sorts of ideas coming out from that one. So we did have quite different tracks, and I think Battle Cry really kind of had that kind of dancey mood. And Paul, you had quite a time in the session, didn't you, with all these guitar parts, pulling these together?
Yeah. It was. I think we wanted something quite anthemic, and it's probably the most anthemic sounding track on that EP. But do you know what? I remember so the intro riff for that. I was actually inspired by. I was just listening to like Crane Radio, and they played a Maiden track. I can't remember which one it was now, but I was like, galloping riff, and
that's it.
just picked up the guitar and just so obviously it sounded nothing like Maiden at all, but it was just the rhythm, and then that just led into sort of like the sort of catchy sort of chorus that we come up with. So that wasn't too long after we started working together. That was quite early on we had that.
Yeah, Ryan, you like that song, aren't you? Double-handed hi-hat at the beginning. It's quite a good song to get into, that, isn't it? Battle Cry. Do you play that live?
Yeah, I played that live. Yeah, I do try to keep to the track itself, but I like my cymbal accents as well, so they kind of lean into that track sounding a little bit more creative on my part, just through that live anyway, from the recording itself. So
it sounded. We played at 229 the other week, and that was probably the best that song had sounded live as well. So Ryan smashed it out of the park that night on that one. Sounded great.
So you've done 3 EPs. Why are you going down that route of always releasing EPs and not the route of doing an album?
We have been anticipating what we're doing for our next one, but I guess albums is quite a big project to go down, to have some really solid 7 tracks and concept. I think we've had like our first few rounds of tasters of trying to come up with something. EP, then our current one, I think we're in agreement that that's like probably one of the best ones. But the time that we put into that one, I mean, I don't know how many songs that were and tracks we'd like gone through with that. You do tons of them, and you sort of then hone it down to like 3 or 4 afterwards to really get that quality. And of course, there's also a budget to stick to with that as well. It's quite even an EP alone it is quite a big project in itself for us to sort of focus on. I don't know what you think, Paul, of what we've gone through.
Yeah, Jess is right. I mean, we went through a load of songs. At first, we had Collide and Looking Glass quite early, and I think we were going to try and do 6 tracks at first, and then we almost went too mellow on a couple of things, and then we're like, no, we should probably be 4. And like, well, if we're doing 4, every song has got to be a banger. So scrapped all the mellow ones, and then and just wrote 2 more that came along fairly quickly. But I think now we've sort of got sounds that we're happy with, and and just a progression that we've made from the other EPs. So I think if you do an album to quickly, I don't know. I just think it just breaks some bands. If you it, you just have to. It has to be the right time, and you have to be ready. And I think it's taken 3 EPs for us to get the sounds that we want. But I think that pretty much every review that we've had has said need an album from these guys, need an album from these guys.
Yeah.
So we've been having some thoughts on that. We've got quite a bit to catch up on our next rehearsal next week. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. But I think it needs to be more than 4 tracks. So I think we're all in agreement. So we'll just figure out how many tracks we can do, the concept of the album and how it might look, and just see. We've got a few new ideas already. So we'll just see how it comes together and how it's gonna fit. I mean, ideally, a 13-track album would be amazing, but
Yeah.
there's budgets to think of, because it's not just recording costs; it's everything else, and it is self-funded for us at the moment. So that's the only thing that's sort of holding us back.
I think it's clever what you've done, because why? Can you imagine if the first album you just put an album out, no one knew who you were, and you've got 13 great songs. No matter how good they are, a year later, people are going to be wanting the next release. So I think you've built up a grassroots following, and that's getting bigger, isn't it? So now when they go to a show, let's say you do an album in 2 years, you'll have people saying, can you play Through the Looking Glass from Polarity? Can you play Battle Cry, the title track? Is it Atoned? Is that on the Spiral EP? Yeah. So you'll have people who are wanting that as well. Whereas if you'd just done this great album, it just gets lost, doesn't it? It's like you've squandered all that hard work.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because like when that's what people and fans notice. We see those in other bands as well, where you have something big released and then you have a silence. You even have that sometimes with the EPs, and it's trying to also tick over to keep people interested, as you say, and also like really planning what you've got to give out to them as well.
Yeah, scarcity value.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So so we don't want it to take. It took us a bit longer for a few reasons. When we decided to use Romesh, that was like added another 5 months onto it, and then it's like, we've got to find a drummer and figure everything. There's quite a lot to work out. So it could have, if we'd have liked it out, sort of 6 months ago. But yeah, well, I think we're in a good place now. Got Ryan. We've got some good ideas for the next release coming, already. So hopefully we'll have something bigger sooner. That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, and look at the incremental steps in terms of recognition. So the main one, Metal Hammer, I saw it as single of the week, and then I also saw the video. It says tracks to check out this week, and you were on there with some great bands that have music out that week. As a self-funded, autonomous band, can you tell me how that happened? How does Metal Hammer find out about this song?
Well, we didn't know it had happened at first, so it was 3 days after it went up on their website. So I think it got pushed by Gary from SAN, from a PR, and it must have got put on there Friday after Gary signed off, and then we found out about it Monday morning. So I think, it was it just sort of happens, and it's kind of done on a voting thing. So we just every day posts on it and stuff, and yeah, that's it. Ended up as a single of the week.
I was kind of shocked as well, because I'd seen the new band with that guitarist from Guns N' Roses and stuff.
Ron Bumblefoot,
yeah, and there were a couple of other awesome
really
bands
big bands
well.
on, really big bands. Yeah. It was a total shock, to be honest.
Yeah. It's weird to sort of look at it. It's like first day looked on it, like, oh wow, and then it was Ron Bumblefoot's new band, and it was like something like 60% of the votes, but you don't know how many people have voted. There could have only been like 100 people. Well, I don't know how it all works and stuff, but we yeah, just kept it going. Public, Instagram, family, friends, whoever. But yeah, I think in the end, a lot of people voted for us, and we noticed our following increase quite a bit over that week as well. So there's obviously a lot of people just discovering us off the back of that. Metal Hammer, louder readers and stuff. So
BBC Rock Radio, that's always a milestone, isn't it, for English bands up and coming? You see that, and you was that on the last EP where you got the push from BBC Rock Radio?
Yeah, so it's Alex Holcomb's new show. So we've got Figure It Out played on there. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. Getting a spin on Radio 1. So yeah, and this
list, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and and getting Metal Hammer said some nice words about us. So another one ticks off there as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, can we actually, before we go into talking about Ramesh, I've got a question for you. What advantage do you have with a base in London that perhaps other more provincial rock and metal bands in the UK don't have, in your opinion? Are there advantages?
I guess there are advantages. Like, you've got so many options in London as our hub, and everything from rehearsals, etc. The only thing about London, obviously, is the prices. Everything is up on the prices for everything. But I mean, like, you got tons of venues and stuff, but we are kind of as you can see from our tour dates and stuff, we're wanting to kind of reach out of London, because the other side of that is that when you've got tons of venues, that there's so much competition as well at the same time, and it's all dispersed all over the place, and there's definitely like a different feel. London's got buzz and stuff, and all sorts of opportunities, but then out in the regions as well, you got some really good kind of more communities out there, and specific places and that people go to, and that's like the other side of kind of going out to other areas, to where we're probably not so exposed to, or we have like yourselves and Rick, we've got like connections all over the place, but it's good to also go out there to the wider crowd, and and play to those communities as well. So there are really pros and cons really being based in London, in terms of the different feel that you get as well. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, London's a difficult one. So it's like other bands are played in. You go like, yeah, great, we've got this gig up London, and you're always going to have one or two shows where you just play to like the other bands as they walk out the door and that. But but like Jess said, there is quite a lot of competition, and you need to be on the right lineup, because there's still promoters that will put a mishmash of bands on, and it just doesn't work, because if you've got like some folky, rocky jazz band, and then you've got like a metal band or something, well, no one's going to stick around. The jazzy band, no one's going to stick around to watch heavy guitars and stuff, because we've literally had that happen a few years ago. We're on quite a weird lineup at the Water Rats. But to give you an example, we played with Hawks and Malavora at the Black Heart. In my opinion, that was a great lineup, and within, by the time we finished the first song, the whole place was rammed. So you just got to have in London. It just needs to be the right lineup of bands, you know, and that's how it can be. You'll have a more successful night as a band and stuff, and it's better for the punters as well. You know, for people that are coming to watch, they're going to see a good bunch of bands, and it's just not, you know, not like a mishmash like we've been involved with before. So, so yeah, there's ways of sort of playing London, but yeah, it's been quite frustrating in the past. But I think now, you know, raising the profile a bit, and you know, like saying playing with Kite Thief the other week as well. It's you know, there's more sort of similar good up and coming bands that have been put together on lineups. So
Yeah, Hawks are an ideal partner for you, aren't they? I reviewed their album. Came out late last year, didn't it? Or was it January? I think it was
last January, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed that. They had some, obviously with them, it's also about the political view of the world, isn't it? They're very clear that they want to be talking about women's rights and equality, and that's great, because rock music is protest music, and they've got a bit of hardcore in them as well, but prog metal. So yeah, I can see how you would go down well on the same stage with them. You know, you use that word competition. So in London, I'm guessing it's not as much a problem looking for a drummer, whereas if you're a band in Cumbria or Cheshire, your drummer leaves, you're probably fucked, aren't you? So Ryan, are you in that position where there's actually competition amongst drummers to find a band, rather than you've got, you know, there's such a, rather than being a shortage of you, is there an oversupply of drummers in London?
Oh, the drummers absolutely everywhere. For me, I think it was just right place, right time, to be honest. I think there was one dude with like this absolutely massive Instagram following that I was quite scared of when I was auditioning. So I think like Night Thieves page is like, well, 6K followers now, but this dude had like 20K just by himself. And I was like, holy crap, like how am I going up against this dude? But then I watched some of his videos and I didn't think he was actually all that, and I actually had a chance. But everywhere, to be honest, it's just there are some, you know, drummers that like staying in pockets, etc., and like not really expanding on themselves, and there are drummers that want to expand and actually, you know, become a great drummer. And I think that's kind of the ones that kind of want to play professionally instead of just being in like a covers band and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it really, to be honest. But yeah, there's tons of musicians out there. You just got to be connected with them, really. I don't know how. Oh yeah, no. I just kind of came across the advert and I was straight in. I was straight in with like listening to their music and get me a part of this now. It's just needed to be part of this.
The band.
Yeah, I needed it. It's just an eye opener. I was like, wow, this band is freaking great.
Yeah, it's auditioning drummers has just been like, it's just the most stressful thing, because you get some that just like let you down at the last minute and stuff. And like I said, there was, you know, a guy that Ryan mentioned, and super professional at first, and then all of a sudden he wasn't interested and got the most unprofessional message, and it's like, okay, well that was lucky then for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so we had a few auditions on the day that Ryan did, and it's interesting. The guy that we thought would probably be the best wasn't at all. It was that was quite an eye opener. You know, just when you look at people's videos and that, and then Ryan, you know, come in. And what you did, the first, it just hits the air from the cymbals, and that we're in quite a small room. But I was just like, yeah, you don't hear this on a you know, phone audition video that you get first, because you want to make sure someone can play the drums right. And oh, yeah, it's just quite cool. And then when we got in there, it was just like power, you know. It was so just. Blew away the other guy, and he made us some merch. Made the glasses. Do you remember, Ryan?
Yeah. So I was like kind of 3D printing these Louvre like glasses with like Night Thieves written down the sides. So which kind of went down quite well, and like two-tone colors, and I thought they were pretty rad, to be honest. They're still in the process of being made currently. Trying to set up ways of mass producing them at low cost,
Yeah,
without them kind of breaking. But yeah,
but you made
that's
the
so
most,
quick.
made the biggest effort by far, so that always counts for
Yeah.
counts for
Learn the
something.
songs. You've done a 3D print of some spectacle frames. You obviously
I thought they were class, to be honest. I was like, what can I do? How can I clench this? I guess what uh was wanting it the most, I think. And I think that definitely came across.
I think Paul's about to reveal
Fair
them.
enough.
Have you
Trying
got
to
them there?
find them.
Oh, you looking?
Hang on.
So do you know, Jess, Paul just said there it was the power that Ryan was hitting. Ryan, is it one of those where you're playing and the ends of your drumsticks are almost hitting your shoulder blades? Are you one of those drummers? You know, when you're just like, they just seem to be flagellating themselves on the shoulders.
No, like Deadpool when he's sheathing his swords. Let's say it like that, shall we? Fleshlight himself.
Oh, here we go. Here's the. Can you just move them
There
a
we go.
bit? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Just can I see him from the side one more time? Yeah, and you've got the color of the EP as well, haven't you? Polaris.
Colours did I give you? That looks like pink through the camera.
Oh, look at that, Jess. You must have been so impressed by this.
Of course, I'm very impressed by things like that. You know, I like shiny, pretty things. So there you go. I was done for there.
Yeah,
Making an
that
effort.
was cool.
Yeah, wow.
Exactly, logo and everything.
This is how you
Amazing.
get. By the way, anyone wants to know how to pass an audition? Of course, you've got to be a great musician. You've got to love the music, learn the songs. Just do what Ryan did. Unique selling point. Create
Exactly.
some merch. Bring it with you. Make sure it's something weird as well.
I think yeah, I mean, who would have thought, honestly? Like, you rock up to an audition. Here, guys, I made you some glasses. Yeah, I think what another point was I'm not just playing drums, you know, there are other things about me. Yeah, not just the one guy who hits things, you know.
Are you programming synth?
Very creative.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Man of many skills.
Good. And that's always, I always say that for rock and metal bands, that's always an outlet, isn't it? You know, if you're looking to switch up your sound, the synthesizers are always there. Just go back and rediscover the Depeche Mode albums. That's what I always say. I love that band. I think I was talking about Depeche Mode to you, Paul, at that Tesseract gig when I was drunk.
Yeah.
Depeche Mode are the fucking best band in the world. It's probably like that. Can we talk about you said there, Paul, it delayed, obviously, the scheduling by 5 months because you managed to get the demo to Ramesh Dodangoda, who's famous for Bring Me the Horizon, and you weren't really expecting to hear back. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, it was. You know, it was. I think we got to a point with the songs where let's have a think about where you know, who would be a good fit to like produce the songs, just as because they develop when we got like the way the story goes and walk away and you know had a few ideas. It's like Ramesh has produced or mixed or you know it's been involved with so many of our favorite records. You know, the Funeral for a Friend stuff. You know, he's done like just so many. And it's like, do you know what? I'm going to send him the demos. So I just like said to Rick and Jess, I'm like, I was going to send them to him, and I don't expect to hear back. And then it was about 4 days later, I got an email back saying these are great, and I was like, yeah, pick my jaw up, and yeah, we just made it work. But obviously, he's an in demand and very busy guy, so yeah, we had 4 or 5 month wait for him. So
did you have to go to Cardiff? Or did he?
Yeah. We went down to his studio, Longwave Studios in Cardiff. So yeah, me and Rick head down on the Monday. and those guys were ready to go. We walked through the door. There's Tom Connolly from Dream State who sessions the drums for us, and they were just ready to crack on. And before we know it, we'd finished recording the bass by the end of the day. And I don't know how, because me and Rick were just like dead from being up at 4 or 5 in the morning to get to Cardiff at 10 o'clock. It was great. Very it's got his studio to run so efficiently, because you've got the live room, you've got the tracking room, the desk and everything, and then he's got his mix room, which is where Jess recorded the vocals. So when we finished tracking the guitars for maybe 1 or 2 songs, that just got transferred into the other room, and Rick and I carried on, because there was so much guitar. It was 2.5 days recording guitar, I think. And yeah, it was 2 songs were done. That was when Jeff started on the vocals in the other room, while me and Rick carried on with guitars in the for the other 2 songs. So it's just so efficient and relaxed and stuff. And yeah, it was great. And
yeah, I was so surprised, because I was working on the Monday. That's why you guys went down and started off. But I was thinking I might get a listening on the drums and bass, and it was all done on the Monday. I was like, oh damn, I missed it as well. And then Rick, we always joke about him basically acting as the chauffeur for the rest of the week. So while the rest of us were doing our arrangements.
What was it like in the vocal booth, Jess? Do you always have a sense of? Are you always a bit nervous before you start? Are you
always? Yeah. I always have that anxiety before I start, and and of course with different producers, that they all have like different ways of working, and obviously as musicians you can't also be set in your ways. So you've got to kind of like prepare. So for me, I was preparing for my vocals, but at the same time I'm thinking, okay, when I go in the studio, when you could be asked to do anything to switch as well. So, and then being able to kind of then go on that direction and stuff. But I think Romesh was probably the easiest. I think he, like Paul said, he just knew he had a great way of working and stuff. And in the past I've had I've had ones that's like really, really kind of really, really have a strong direction, and you'd sing over and over and over again till you get it right. But Romesh was great. I think like another bit of his talent is also like honing into your strengths, and I think it's kind of thanks to him as well during the session that to bring out kind of the best as well in my vocals, and help making it easier for me in a way. I was like in the session, I was constantly practicing. It's like, don't worry, it's fine, just sing it in. And I was just like really surprised. It's only a few times round I went through it, and then it's like, yeah, that's fine, it's fine, don't. And he was really it was really good about that. And don't pressure yourself to do certain things. So I think with that, he just alleviated me a little bit, and then I can really just focus on my vocals. So I think Paul, he said, didn't he, like part of his work is kind of like also a bit of psychology to get the best out of musicians as well in the studio. So great at that.
Definitely. And similar approach to guitars as well, because the first guitar bit I'd start playing was the most difficult. So he just chucked me into the deep end as soon as I picked up the guitar, and he's like, right, we're going to start with this. And it was I think it was the chorus for Collide, and it's very syncopated, and we, those guitars were quad tracked. They were quad tracked, and then I did another double track with a octaver pedal. So, and it's just the accuracy and precision for it. But at first I was thought, oh my god, I've been thrown at the deep end here. And then we've been going for maybe about sort of 20 minutes, and I still haven't warmed up properly. And Romesh is like, look, he's like, relax. He's like, it's an awesome riff, and we're going to get it right. and it's going to take a while, but when we get to the end of it, we're going to have an awesome riff, and it's going to sound great. And then from the moment he said that, it was just, it was just such an easy session. So yeah,
he has belief in you.
Really,
that's what he's saying there, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, it's not going to be easy. It's a great riff. Just trust me. I know you can do it. And if you don't do it the first time, we'll do it again. So I can see how that would settle you down. See, I think you would have been thrown in at the deep end doing the verse parts for that song, because you're playing some like discordant high register arpeggios, aren't you, at the beginning of that song?
Yeah, there's one bit that's a little bit tricky in the first verse when it sort of changes. I just sort of changed the pattern for a little bit, but it was actually the chorus for that song was the hardest thing I had to play that week. But I said it was once I settled into it and everything, got past that, everything was just quite straightforward, and it's just really enjoyable playing the guitar, and didn't feel any pressure. It just felt it was just fun. Actually, it's the least pressure I've probably all of us have had in the studio. So yeah, it was good. So he knows his stuff, and like Jess said, the psychology as well is good guy, really nice guy.
Let's talk about the current video single from the EP, Through the Looking Glass. So there's two things. First of all, that bridge, Jess, whose idea was that? Did you write that? Because it's such a clever way to prepare for the chorus. It's like the tempo comes down, doesn't it? And you're almost lamenting, singing to yourself, and then you belt the chorus, don't you? Did you have that from the beginning, or were you the one that said, no, we need to slow this part down to move on to the chorus?
No, I can't take credit for that. I have to give. I think Paul and Rick had worked together on that, and they did great on sort of kind of setting that foundation for those dynamics that you've like noticed on that track, because like you said, you can really feel it. I don't know how many versions we'll probably end up doing that, because I think we usually during the demo time, I think by that time the guys we'd thought of then structure for that, and I tend to get the feel of the arrangements that pretty much Paul and Rick had already set foundation for, and then it becomes like a bit of a reiteration process. So that music and was there, and then I felt, because that whole song is essentially just based on Alice in Wonderland, or Alice Through the Looking Glass, basically. So it is a bit of a roller coaster kind of song, and so that point is kind of the point when Alice falls into the mirror. So that's why it goes into that bridge with a little sort of fallen kind of fairy like kind of ethereal kind of feel before it goes into the chorus. So that's kind of how we ended up kind of developing that song in that way, with that bridge. So yeah, it's a bit different to a lot of our other tracks as well.
Yeah, because strip that down to piano.
Yeah.
That could be a Carpenter song. That could be Karen Carpenter.
I know.
Strip it down to a sparkling piano.
I was in the moment when I was doing it. I was like, I could kind of feel it in that kind of soft Billie Eilish type kind of vibe going on in that one. I felt that straight from the arrangements. So I quite like that section as well. It's just a bit different to that song.
Yeah, I can tell that Rick had a part in it, Paul, because he does some bass guitar phrasing, doesn't he, in that part as well? I imagine I'm putting that in there.
Yeah, so that bit, what he done on bass, that was added it. He changed that when we went into the studio to record it. So originally it was just it was literally just two notes before, just ringing out. So I remember the day we went to demo the vocals, and then Jess come out of it, and we'd done the chorus, and I was like, well, these lyrics are, are awesome. But the pre-chorus, the bridge, it was very basic. It was a couple of guitar strums and Rick just ringing out the root notes, and just done this. Got to give you say Jess gives the credit to me and Rick, but it was Jess's vocal, because when I got home, I'm like, right, I'll give this a mix and send it over, and sort of the music doesn't match up to the vocal here, and that's when we started experimenting with the synths and the sounds and stuff. So it was that song where we started experimenting with other sounds, and then eventually, it's muddled through all these sounds and everything, and the songs and the sounds that we used on the demo is what ended up on the actual EP. It needed a bit of thought. Like the music had to, when Jeff recorded the vocals, the music had to be as good as that vocal part. So we knew there had to be more substance to it. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Ryan, the breakdown. Are you looking forward to this, playing this live? Heaviest part of the ADK, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely up there with definitely one of my favourite tracks to play, especially when it gets to the breakdown. It's just I don't know, I just generate so much force. My China hates me for that breakdown.
Like I was saying, I'm going to use that.
Especially on stage at the 229, it was drifting away from me. Every time I hit it, it was just like inching its way. I had to keep leaning, just like Scorpion, like, get over here onto the track. Yeah, but I absolutely love that breakdown. There's a bit in it as well where Paul does a little bendy bit, and after that just kind of kicks in again. It gives you that nice, you pull that lovely business face, don't you? Like, when you hear it. I do anyway, whenever I hear it. Yeah, I love it. It's great.
Definitely, to our viewers, I would say start with Through the Looking Glass, because it is the current video single. It was Metal Hammer's single of the week. It makes sense to start there and even work your way back. But I get the impression you're still proud of those first two EPs, aren't you? Even though you sound as involved and you're finding a coherent sound, are you still playing most songs from those first two EPs as well?
I think Battle Cry is the one that has always kind of been in our set list, and it sits well. It's a little bit something different as well. It sits well with the rest of our tracks, but I think we've sort of slowly weaned away from a lot of the other ones on the first EP. I think Spiral still features on. The thing with our gigs at the moment is you got like between a half hour to 40 minutes set, and you got to like decide which are the ones that you're gonna put in. Obviously, all the new ones are gonna go in there. So Battle Cry is still in there. It hasn't been taken off yet. So it's still holding on at the moment. So. But I think, a few of the other ones, guys, I guess you start to notice quite a big bit of a difference between those songs and the other ones when you're playing them all together on a set list on a gig.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to stop playing the songs from the. I still enjoy playing Battle Cry because it's a good one for the the audience loves it, and it's just got that dancey anthemic chorus, so I still enjoy playing that. But it was the first EP was just a bit of a you can tell it's a band trying to find their sound. That's certainly after we released Spiral, that was how the first EP has sounded to me since we did Spiral. So it's but we're still doing Battle Cry. That's still enjoy that one. But the other ones, I think there was a song on there, Stop Start, and I just couldn't wait to stop playing that song. It's just like, I never want to play. I think we tried playing it on one of the first sessions of Ryan, and I'm like, I literally can't remember how to play it at all. I think we'd done okay until it got up to the lead guitar bit, and I couldn't remember it, and I ruined the song, so everyone had to stop. We've never played it since.
See, Ryan had learned that song.
I'd learned that.
Down there, Paul.
I really enjoyed playing that song, to be fair.
You've got it ready, and you can't even remember it.
No, it's
I came
just
in there, nailed it, and there was Paul just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan."
You're about to say, well, actually, Paul, what you should be doing here. That might have
probably
been
probably could have probably could have, but yeah, I couldn't remember it, so I deliberately ruined the solo, so we had to stop playing it. Well, I didn't deliberately ruin the solo, I couldn't remember what to do, so I just made it as bad as I could. It was yeah, but yeah, going back to the original question, I mean, still super proud of Spiral. You know, in the circumstances that was written in a game about a drummer in between lockdowns, remotely and everything, and you know, and Paul Vista was great on that. I mean, you know, really helped us just work our way through working remotely and stuff, and even finally got into the studio and actually have face-to-face contact and that. There was you know, just gave great songwriting tips and you know, just tweaked a few bits, but which made a big difference. So, you know, still immensely proud of it. Still think it sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah,
his band Black Orchid Empire, that album they put out last year was one of our albums of the week for Scream Blast Repeat, our sister organisation, and we had it in our top 50 albums of the year as well. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his band. Final question then, to wrap things up. To what extent will you be actively seeking out a record label for your next release?
I guess, yeah, we'll see what opportunities come our way. I guess it depends, doesn't it?
It's a really hard one because I don't know. I mean, there's just because of how music is now and how easy it is to put, you know, because of streaming and everything, and how easy it is for anyone to put music. I mean, you could record a song on a tape recorder and get it on Spotify, right? You know, it's so easy to get music out there, and there is so much less. You know, record labels aren't going to invest as much money as what they used to. You know, so I don't know. I think there's a couple we could try and approach, but it's yeah, there's a lot of other bands trying to do the same thing, and some, in some respects, do we need a label? You know, I don't think. I think we've done quite well with this EP ourselves, and I think just there's a few bands out there, but they're not signed and they've got massive followings. They're doing quite big tours and stuff, and it's yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessary.
Yeah, I feel like it's like at this point, yeah, not sure. I guess maybe when like you said, when you get really big and you need to push your exposure up. I mean, that's the level really now a lot of these labels are operating at, aren't they? Where you need that when you go to that extra level for a push, and they've got distributors around and stuff, and that's probably when you might need a label if you're in that space. But yeah, at the moment there could be independent labels, I guess, that could be suited. But yeah, at the moment and where we are, it's we're on a good road at the moment, to be honest, that we could probably carry on as we are at the moment, unless another opportunity comes that's worth taking.
I agree.
Yeah.
The question is actually, do you need to be on a label? That's why I thought I would frame the question: to what extent will you be doing it? I was interested to know if you're thinking, is this even necessary?
So yeah, I guess the answer is no. We don't need to be on a label right now, and I suppose it only if the right opportunity were to arise that you'd really truly think about it, because of the points that Paul and Jess have made. So yeah. No.
I mean, Paul, think about it. We've seen an example 3 weeks ago of a band, and it would not be in their interest to sign to a label, unprocessed. So Manuel Gardner, the guitar player, has 65,000 followers on 600,000 followers on Instagram. He's endorsed by Ibanez Guitars, just think of the merch sales that they're doing. If they signed a label, they would have to sign one of those 360 deals where they give up a percentage of publishing rights, merch, touring income. They would lose money, even though it would elevate them, and they're already getting on the festivals. They don't need the legitimacy of a label to do that. So I think you have got certain bands who actually are big on social media first. Just continue doing it. You don't even need a top tier, high level management. You could bring that in house, and that's probably the way it's going to go for certain bands, isn't it? Yeah, we reviewed a Russian band 3 weeks ago, death metal band, reviewed their video, and we actually thought, do you know what? Band from Russia, you probably do need the backing of a label to get exposure in Western Europe. So it depends, doesn't it, what the case is for you guys? You're right. The labels don't really invest much in there. They need to make money, and you're going to be getting quite a lot of revenue there.
Exactly, and you even see some major artists as well dropping off of labels and starting to do their own stuff as well.
Like Paramount now, they've gone.
Yeah,
exactly.
You hear like these stories where the label will stop a band putting out even a single for a year until it's got 10,000 pre-saves on Spotify. And they're not saying that. They've got this song ready to go, and they're not allowed to release it because they've not reached this target.
Yeah, and I had a friend, I think, on label as well, and I think they, like you said, they were put on pause, but basically, and they had everything done, but the pause was like something ridiculous, like for 4 or 5 years or something, until they actually got, out of the rota. They've decided to then push them out to the world. It's just crazy, and I think they were saying
happens a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, continue on the trajectory. Yeah, I don't think if an opportunity came along by a label that's got a great roster, and that they buy into your music, not just literally, but they love what you're doing, then it would make sense, wouldn't it? So just to double check for our viewers, Polaris, what are the physical format releases for this? Is it CD only, or is there a vinyl version?
So it's our Polarity EP. We've got them out CDs. So we've got those on sale. I think we've got a link through our site and on the socials, of course, haven't we?
Yeah. Vinyl is like I know it's massive at the moment, but it's better suited to an album. Like, as great as love to have a vinyl, because we love our artwork, but it's just not for an EP. But if we get an album done, and then maybe we can push out some vinyl with that. Be worth doing, more cost effective and stuff.
Excellent. So this EP was released in January this year, 2024. So to our viewers and listeners, definitely go and check this out. As I said, it's already had some big endorsements, including Metal Hammer Single of the Week. You're playing at a show in Tooting in April, and then you've got this joint headlining long weekend with Crystalline, that rock band, and you'll be playing, is it Nottingham, Edinburgh and Birmingham, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess should people just be checking your Facebook for updates, or should it be going to Bandcamp?
Just keep Instagram's probably the one now. As people actually see the posts, where people don't tend to see posts on Facebook because of the unique way it works. But exactly.
You've got 1,000 followers and it only goes to 50 people. What?
50 people if you're lucky. So just keep an eye on Instagram's the best place. Always putting updates and stuff in the stories, and it's where we're most active. We post on X occasionally, but I don't think many people are using it these days. So Instagram, or our website, where you can see the posts from Instagram on there. So if you're not on it,
thank you.
We're still trying to make our way on the TikTok thing still.
Necessary evil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're to engage. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the channel. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to the next release. And I'm sure I'll be able to catch a show at some point, whether it's the Black Heart or hopefully in the home counties. So I'm currently living in Hertfordshire. I know Rick lives in Hitchin. I'm in Stevenage. So it'd be great to see you in, Luton, St Albans, Stevenage, Hitchin. Plenty of venues around here as well. So, yeah, all the best. And thank you once again for joining me.